What's good, man? It's your boy Juicy J, man. Shout out to Virtual Homework Podcast.
That's my little news thing. Breaking news. Everyone knows. Famous breaking news. Something happened right before this podcast. Holy shit. Joe Rogan said he didn't like playing video games.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. Did you not see the article I linked?
Joe Rogan
said he had to stop playing video games because his simple brain was too addicted to video games, and it's like a drug for him.
Oh, yeah, no, I've seen that take a million times where he says that. He basically says, like, it was getting to the point where it was like, I wasn't doing what I need to do. I think too many people play games to get, as an escapism, and they don't know what they need to do. I mean, I'm an example of one of those people. Like, yeah, games are definitely fucking detrimental.
Do you think that video games have ruined your life, and you can, like, do you think you would be Joe Rogan without video games?
I mean, I would probably not be where I am now making a podcast in my apartment.
Well, I mean, like, that's honestly, like, this is probably the closest you could be to Joe Rogan.
Hello, welcome to the Video Homework Podcast.
This is a video game podcast where we discuss the similarities.
Virtual Homework Podcast.
This is a virtual homework podcast where we discuss how we could become Joe Rogan podcast.
I am Dana.
I am Joe Rogan.
He is Joe Rogan, a.k.a. Sam.
What? This is a terrible intro. Like, genuinely one of the worst intros.
10 out of 10. We played video games this week.
No, but if we're
Joe Rogan hates video games, and speaking of Joe, John McAfee also died.
Speaking of Joe, day. Was John McAfee... John McAfee, right? It's McAfee?
McAfee? Whatever.
Are you going to too much McDonald's, getting a McCoffee? What do they call it?
I think McAfee.
Do they actually call it? Is that a conspiracy?
I don't know.
Did McDonald's take place in the murder of John McAfee? For those who don't know, I mean, like, there's kind of an Epstein situation going on right now where John McAfee, batshit insane man talking about whale sex, said he would not kill himself. And he did kill himself, apparently, in jail, which is dark. This is a dark opening to the podcast. What happened?
Dude is legit fucking insane.
Yeah, he was. He talked many times about whale sex. Okay, I'm gonna actually give my personal take on the legality of whale sex, and it's not. Dana's like, please don't.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, let me freely.
I'm giving you the full steam ahead.
I don't have any opinions on. Okay, I guess bestiality is wrong. That's a given. But the thing that irked me that I actually had the ability to comment on is that he mentioned in response. So John McAfee was basically saying, like, whale sex with humans is consensual, which is like that's already that's not a take. That's like you can't have that take. But then, like, he was, like, arguing with people, and it was like one of the things he said, you got to get out more, man. It's one of the top 5 issues in Fijian government. So Fiji is a small South Island Pacific nation, and, like, I have not lived in Fiji. And Dana's like, what? This is a video game podcast. Why are we talking about this? Because
no, it's just like I know the background of John McAfee, so it's like this man created McAfee antivirus or McAfee, whatever, however you say it. McAfee antivirus, the one that all your parents use. It's horrible spyware, bloatware.
Yeah, McAfee itself is the virus. So
yeah, it's fucking terrible. He created that, has been on the run from the FBI for fucking like 20 years, doing all sorts of drugs, like all this kind of crazy shit. Post on Twitter about how he fists his wife every day. Like,
oh no,
he's like 70 years old and he died in jail. No, she likes it apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad because it's not going to happen anymore. What I'm trying to say,
people are acting like this great person died. I'm like, motherfucker, like, killed people, like,
yeah, his legacy
did drugs,
is,
like,
his legacy is just like shitty behavior, maybe undercovering some satellite footage of the Epstein mansion, and then also making the worst software of all time. What I'm trying to say, R.I.P. John McAfee. What I'm trying to say is that I lived in the South Oceanic country, Pacific Island nation, Palau, and I like to bring it up anytime I can because I want to brag about my dope life and how many dope things I do.
Sex?
Not a single human being on that island, which is one of the closer nations to Fiji, talked about whale sex in my multiple months of living there. So What I'm trying to say, maybe they were talking about Palauan is its own language. In fact, it's one of the hardest languages to learn because it grew up in entire isolation for thousands of years compared to other languages. Maybe they were having conversations in Palauan, which I doubt. I would say it's probably not a top 5 or top 10 issue in most.
I bring up a topic tangentially related to whale sex?
I'm scared, but yes.
Okay, so apparently dolphins are one of the only creatures that have sex for fun, and the female sex secretes a gel or some shit that makes the male dolphin like jizz over and over and over. So scientists, they took that gel and they put it on a human's penis, and the person jizzed until he died.
This is a video game podcast, and
what game did we play this week?
I think things are out of whack. I don't even want to get into the game we played this week, so I'm just gonna give some context here. This is our first episode on a Wednesday. So before, we've been like near midnight on a Saturday night. That's when shit gets real, you know, when you're talking like, oh, this is real podcast hours, okay? That's where the real conversations happen. This is where underbelly of the podcast world bubbles up into the ears.
I think the whole Millionaire dying is pretty relevant to like the game we played this week.
I guess it actually is. What I'm trying to say is like, this is a Wednesday. This is supposed to be relaxed. We're moving to Wednesdays now. We've only had a couple of days since our last episode. This is kind of a blessing that this news came out. We picked I guess it's a blessing. I don't know what's happening anymore. But what I'm saying is like, I think we're off our axis here. We're not used to Wednesdays. So I'm sorry.
I'm on.
You're on?
I'm balanced.
You're on? You're balanced? You're fair and balanced?
My chakra is aligned.
I'm not sure if my chakra's aligned. I think I have to like get my chakra in a bit of a better place, because this is not what I planned with my... I recently turned 27. If you asked me at like 15 what I would be doing at 27, talking about John McAfee, the late John McAfee's takes on whale sex and the legality and relevance of whale sex to the oceanic community, I would not guess that.
I would.
What did we play this week? Why am I even asking you that? What did I pick this week? Before we get into that, because I actually have some follow-up. Did you play any more God. Disco Elysium?
Yeah, I played another like 40 hours of it.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I actually wanted to play it, but I didn't. That's how it goes every single week. It's one of the games, like, compared to other games where I see myself playing it like in the first week after the podcast and never touching it again.
This is like such a in-depth game. Like you have to like sit down and like give so much time to like get into it.
Yeah, it takes like a full half an hour to like re-immerse yourself into the world, and I think that's going to be a problem for me continuing the game, but I do want to continue it. I hope that I do. And honestly, with the new schedule, which is great for multiple reasons, one, I could edit in less of a time crunch. Episodes will come out on time more often. Two, it gives me a little bit of time to relax between games more than just like normal weekend hours. But
we don't have to like completely rush to play it on like Saturday and like
yeah, exactly. Or we're just gonna forget to play our games, and then it's gonna be like, oh, what game do we play this week? None. What I'm trying to say here is that maybe with the new schedule, I'll play a little bit more Disco Elysium. But the second most pressing question, I know the answer, but I have to ask because I want you to seem like a terrible friend. Did you watch WALL-E?
Twice.
You watched it twice? How was it?
I didn't watch
WALL-E. How was you said you watched it twice, and I don't understand why you'd lie in this situation. So how was it? How was it the first time? Rate it the first time and then rate it the second time. Because like, how free was it? Like back to back, or did you watch it one day and then like have an experience where you wanted to watch it again?
Listen, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to watch it eventually. Why don't you watch it with me?
I mean, you didn't ask, and like that could be a situation. If you want,
you want to watch WALL-E with me?
Sure, but you have to name a time and place. I'm a very busy man with a very busy schedule, and I can't just watch WALL-E at the drop of a hat.
Are you free Friday night?
Yes, but I don't want to hang out with you outside of this podcast, so I have to. What's a good excuse for that?
You want to hurt my feelings intentionally?
No, I don't want to hurt your feelings intentionally, but I'm. So like. What would you say to someone who you don't want to hang out with under any circumstances outside of like the thing that you're trying to create? Like, we're creative professionals and not friends.
Oh, dude, like my mom, I got to take her to the thing in the morning. I just can't.
Yeah, so I have to take Dana's mom to the thing in the morning, and that's why I can't do the episode, or I can't watch it on Friday. But any other time, man, just name a time and place and I'll try to make it.
Right now.
We're in the middle of a podcast, man. They made that easy for me. Thank you.
This is a video game podcast, and we played video games.
This is a friendship-ending podcast. The last thing, okay, I want to set a context here. So what did we play this week? No, we're okay. It's not even the last thing. Okay, scratch that. What did we play this week? I don't know why I'm asking you that.
We played, what was it, How to Beat Up a Millionaire?
We played Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire? One of the best known games of all time. Have you ever heard of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yes, I used to watch that quite often. I played the video games for it. I played the board game for it, and I didn't think I'd be playing it from this perspective. That's for sure.
So, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is a TV show, at least it was a TV show, that was hosted primarily by Regis Philbin in the US. Apparently, it was actually a UK show brought over to the US, where questions are asked to contestants, and they get more difficult over time. If you get questions wrong, you eventually lose, and you get a certain sum of money. You could either give up and get your sum of money, or you could risk it and keep going and try to get up to $1 million.
More.
So Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire is that game, except not, because it's worse. It's just like the worst version of it. So
it is literally the worst version of it.
So I want to preface this and say, when we were like playing Disco Elysium, you specifically use the words, I'm throwing a wild card in here. We played Disco Elysium this week. And I'm like editing the podcast. I'm thinking, why do you think Disco Elysium, highly acclaimed RPG indie darling, is a wild card for the podcast when I played the Wall-E movie game before it? And Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire?
It was less of a wild card for the podcast, and it's just something that like I don't think either of us would traditionally have picked.
Okay,
like that's kind of what I meant by it. Like, I don't think either of us would have individually played this game. It just isn't our normal realm of gaming. So I that's what I was like, this is a wild card. Like,
so what you're trying to say is that it's predictable that I would pick an obscure, absolutely terrible Dreamcast game for the podcast.
You picked like the most insane shit like 2 weeks in a row. You're like, Wall-E video game, better than Resident Evil 8, and then this week you pick Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire, which, mind you, is not funny. It tries way too fucking hard. It is the most 1998 thing ever.
It's the era of just like really shitty parodies that somehow like make it past multiple levels of QA. Like, this should have stopped like at the idea, oh, you know the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? What if it was Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire? It's like, oh, that's funny. This is like a thinly veiled political take.
It doesn't even make sense.
It does make sense. It's totally a political take. Like, all these millionaires. Actually, there is one billionaire, which already invalidates the Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire point. They're just like shitty people, and the whole goal is to beat them out of their millions. So unlike Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where you go up to $1 million, the way this gameplay works is you have questions, and after every single correct question, you're able to beat up the person of your choosing, or if there's multiple characters, I guess there's like some different. I actually only play this game on one player. I didn't try two player.
I did the same thing. There are multiple characters you can beat up. You can do Ronald Hump, which is basically a Donald Trump knockoff from 1998.
He doesn't look at all like Donald Trump. In fact, even his bio, I actually looked up all the parodies, and like none of them actually look like the people they're trying to parody because the graphics are so terrible. But
it's like some woman who's like she's like has a sugar daddy. There's like a fucking Saudi prince. His name is like Emperor Chickpea or something like that.
It's like a trust fund baby, and basically unsufferable rich people. And the way that it works, after every single round, you have the ability to start beating on them with quite literally the worst fighting mechanics I've ever played in a video game.
So you spam A and press left, up, right, and down. So it's like he'll block random directions. So it'll be like block up, block down, block. So it's like all you have to do is just be like left punch, right punch, up punch, down punch, left punch, right punch, up punch, down punch, and you'll get it every time.
Yeah,
it is so bad. Like, think of the worst fighting controls you've ever seen in your life, and this is like 10 times worse. Oh my God.
The fighting is not a non-starter. Basically, it's not a game at that point. It's literally just spamming a single button randomly. What happens when you spam the A button randomly is that you will lower their wealth total. So they start with $1 million. When you start beating them up, all of a sudden they're at 500,000, 100,000, et cetera, et cetera. It goes down weirdly far. So like, did you beat this game?
No, I could get down to him having $10,000 left. That's the best I could do.
So it starts at like $1 million, and then it goes to $500,000, $100,000. I think then like $10,000.
Well, it's 500 and then, million, 500, 200, 100, 50, 20, 10, and I think that's like whatever.
It keeps going for some weird reason. So like it's like 10,000 and then 5,000, then 1,000, then 500, then 100, then like 10, then $5, then he goes all the way to $1 and then you beat him. Randomly you get like well, you could use your lifelines, but randomly you get like weapons that make it easier to beat on them.
Yeah.
But there really isn't a point of this game. Like I'm trying to think of redeemable qualities of this game.
They're not even good questions. Like you answer trivia stuff, but for one, it's like pop culture from 1998, so it's like completely irrelevant. Two, it's like finish a nursery rhyme or something like that. It's just very obscure stuff that can be like somewhat subjective at times.
I call this like Nick at Night trivia. Like every single question is like from a Nick at Night show. It's like something I've never seen before.
Yeah, I don't know who the target audience for this game was, but Jesus Christ. And just like the announcer, like the voicing, everything about this game is so fucking annoying. Like the worst is like when you accidentally press A when he's doing a question, and then he's like, "Oh, well, you don't want to listen to me say the question? Well, how about this?" And you have 3 seconds to answer, and it's just like, okay, I lose, I guess.
He makes fun of you for playing on one player, and then like the actual mechanics for one player, it pretends there's multiple players. Like, who's gonna buzz in and get the answer? It's like, oh my god, they really did not try for this game. In fact, I had to look up multiple things regarding this game because like I wasn't like they have this weird cutscene in the beginning where they call like Regis Philbin, who I forget what they call him in the game. It's like egregious has-been or something like that. They like multiple times allude to Regis Philbin being an unfunny hack who's like best years of his career behind him. I'm like, Jesus Christ, these people hate Regis Philbin a lot. And, like,
well, it's just like that 1998 like South Park edgy culture type stuff, you know?
I like the amount of times they like said Regis Philbin's career was over, and like they're trying to revive him as an animatronic that's on Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire. Like I was like, did something happen in the 90s that like hurt Regis Philbin's career? I couldn't find anything. Maybe this was common knowledge to people who were in that age. But like I will say, some of the quips were almost funny the first time, but after hearing them the 19th time trying to beat this game, I was like, this is the worst thing in the world, and I want this to stop. Also, like the fact that like this game is like, it wants to be offensive, but it's not. It's like, oh, this is like the Japanese person. Wait, I'm not going to say that. And like, you already kind of made it racy by implying that you want to make a racist joke right now. I'm like, this is a video game. It's a video game that exists.
It's like the worst trivia game I've ever played in my life. Like the questions aren't good. Like you'll skip through like a round or whatever, and then the same question will be like in the next round. I'm just like, okay. And like I said, it is like very much so like Nick at Night. It's like, oh, what was Happy Days a spin-off of? It's just like, I don't fucking know. Like,
yeah, so the reason I picked this game, because usually we say that first, but the reason I picked this game is because I was on my list because I was randomly looking at Dreamcast games. I'm like, holy shit, this looks terrible. I want to play this on the podcast. But then I learned that this game is roughly 15 minutes, and I'm like, we can't do a 15-minute game. We have nothing to talk about. But then I realized, oh, hey, if we only have 4 days to do the podcast, I can finally pick Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire.
Perfect.
I don't know. I do kind of regret picking this because this is genuinely what I think is it's bottom 3 games on the podcast. I think Space Giraffe will probably not Space Giraffe. Giraffe Town will probably be the worst game we play because that game intentionally tries to hurt the player.
Giraffe Town is actually playable though. That's like a game you can play. This is literally like you press A in a question and then you press A. Like this doesn't even have substance. Like this is barely a game.
I guess the funny thing is this got like a 6 out of 10.
Who greenlighted this?
I looked up the company that made this. They made a lot of random sports games and then got absorbed into EA. Oh, they made a lot of game show games. So like they made like, you remember like the $1 Million Pyramid?
Yeah.
They made that game for the Wii.
Oh, okay.
The thing is like I don't think it's terrible in that, like, for compared to other Who Wants to Be a Millionaire video games, it has similar, yet it's like worse. It's a much worse version of it, but like
it's significantly worse. There's less content. There's less graphics. Like there's less like anything.
But I could see like busting this out at a party and like people who are interested in trivia having at least like a tiny bit of fun before making fun of the person who bought this game for making a terrible financial decision. But like, I just also don't really see the reason to. I understand people like them, but I personally would never buy a game show game. I feel like due to the fact that it's a video game and you can't actually just like have unlimited content for trivia, you are eventually going to very quickly actually run out of content. It's going to start repeating pretty quickly.
I have very, 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 very good memories of playing the Genesis version of
Family Feud.
Family Feud, yeah.
Family Feud for some reason for the SNES is a I love that game. That's different though.
Holy shit. Like, so when I was in high school and I just started smoking weed, we would literally get 4 of us together and we would play that game for fucking hours, just obliterated out of our minds, just smoking so much pot until we were like stupid, like mentally just dumb, and play that, and just holy crap, we couldn't answer a single question, but for some reason it was the funniest thing ever. We would just play that game for hours.
Well, Family Feud is also really weird on the SNES and Genesis because the way that the questions, it does not matter what order the letters are. So okay,
as long as they're there, right?
Yeah, so hypothetically, if the answer was duck, you could answer dig under crater corn, like the band Corn. Like it as long as duck was in order in some regard, it will like answer the question correctly. So like it makes for fun, and that some random shit will get you on the board. But I don't know why those games are so good compared to every single other trivia game. I absolutely hate.
I actually think it's funny that you agree that like the SNES and Genesis ones, which are pretty much identical, are actually pretty fun games.
I've like busted. I haven't busted those out of parties, but I know people who have busted those out of parties. I think there is just something weird about those two games that like has some level of nostalgia and like ease of playability. It's fun. I don't know.
They actually
every
have
other
content.
one,
They actually have content to them because like the questions are subjective to like your individual. There's not just
one
answer.
There isn't just one answer. That makes sense. Like this game
so
has
it's
little...
much more interesting. There's just like one answer to everything. So it's like once you know the answer, it's like all right, I've seen the same question.
And it didn't take that long for me to start repeating questions in this game. This game has so little content. I was looking at the manual trying to see if I missed something because like I was like really there's only like because I thought the fighting controls would be a little bit more in depth. The manual is so short. And the things it covers how to power on your system. It's like the power button on the Dreamcast is this button. That's like 2 pages. It's like they obviously had so little content that they could not fill up a manual. It's like we have to say how to power on the console. We don't know what we're doing here.
What could this game have done to even make itself interesting, though?
Nothing. I feel like the whole
concept is just stupid.
Yeah, it's a stupid joke, and like that happens with movies too. Like I feel like you ever watch like some of the Saturday Night Live movies? I love A Night at the Roxbury, but like I think it's one of the like objectively it's a bad movie. It's like we'll take this 2-minute skit and we'll make an entire movie out of it. Like some things are just not meant to be more than the funny
2-second skit,
funny 2-second thing or anything like that. This was barely funny from the start. I feel like they were just trying to say Billionaire is bad. It makes sense in this day and age. Maybe this game would have an audience, but it's not implemented very well.
Oh man, so we gotta spend the rest of our lives coding a new version for 2021.
Well, there was actually a PC version that came beforehand, and it was entirely 2D. So the funny thing is, it would be harder to play because honestly, it's kind of a bitch.
Oh, that makes sense because like during the conversation with like some of the fucking announcer, he'll say like, "Oh, what are you? I don't know what you look like. You're on a computer right now." It's like they don't even say console; they say computer.
Yeah, they didn't even change out the voice acting, but yeah, it was on the PC, but honestly, old PC games are harder than console games to actually play because have you tried playing like a game from like the early 2000s or late 90s on a PC?
You can't.
You have to like emulate like DOS or like emulate like Windows 98, and it's so terrible. I hate using virtual machines, even though it's literally required for my job a lot of the time. So awful. I'm happy we played it on the Dreamcast. I didn't even realize, so I actually didn't play this on my original Dreamcast. I played this on my emulator because, I'm sorry, I ripped my actual copy of Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire, and I put it on my computer and then used the Redream emulator.
Might I say Redream is super nice and
that's
easy to use.
Actually, that's one of my points here.
It's one of the easiest emulator experiences I've ever had.
It's the sickest emulator I've ever used. Like it actually, like it functions like a a well-made app versus just like kind of, you know how an emulator usually is just like a black screen, you hit file open and then you're in the game. Like this actually, like it looks like Steam. It looks like Steam. You set up your
I didn't
console
even need
library.
to interface my controller.
Yeah, it worked
I just
fine.
literally just plugged in my controller and it automatically sets everything, which has never happened to me with an emulator. I always have controller problems.
Yeah, like the emulator made me feel like I was using an app or using like Steam or something versus using an emulator. It almost made it feel like it wasn't illegal, which is pretty dope.
Yeah. Well, it's not, because we both ripped our copies.
Yeah, well, I'm saying for most people, not for me. Like it almost made it feel like it wasn't an application that facilitates illegal activities. It's kind of like using like a really good torrent. I haven't torrented something in like 10 years, but like, you know, torrents are technically used in some spaces.
I know this is like a separate thought now, but you like can't torrent shit anymore. It's like super scary. Isn't it like ridiculous the amount of shit we used to torrent back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we were doing a lot of illegal things and now we're not. So they won. That's pretty cool.
Yep, they did. Do you know what's not cool? This game, I give this a 0 out of 1,000. This game sucked dick. This is probably the worst game we play on the podcast.
I'm not gonna say it's the worst game we played on the podcast. I think that I was
What's worse?
I was more upset by Draft Town.
Draft Town actually has content. I'd rather play Draft Town over this because you can actually play something. This is like you could literally play this game for 5 minutes and get everything out of it.
This was a poor implementation of an idea versus Draft Town.
It's not even a good idea.
No.
Draft Town actually has some thought behind it.
This is a poor implementation of a bad idea, which is kind of like bad and bad. Draft Town is a poor implementation of a sadistic idea. So it's similar, but like the intentional goal is to hurt the player. Versus like this game, I don't think they wanted to hurt the person playing it. Sure, there were insults
that's even
at the
worse.
player.
That they're trying to make a game and it was just awful. Versus like, hey, I'm trying to make a bad game. Like I don't know. This is the worst game we play on the podcast in my opinion.
Okay, I mean like this is bottom 3. I'm like I say bottom 3.
So what's the other one?
That's the thing. I say bottom 3 because I feel like there was something so bad I forgot about it. I don't know. I genuinely don't. I'm being safe about it. This is definitely making it so like I know we do that like yearly list. This is a shoe-in for both of us for like top 5 worst games we played this year.
Oh, excuse me.
Dude's tired. He's not used to Wednesdays.
I'm like been getting so much sleep lately, but I just keep yawning. It's like fucking awful. I think it's just the time of day. Like once I get to like 10 p.m., I'm like ready to party.
Cool.
Do you know what else is cool?
I know it's not cool.
Yeah, what happened with cheese?
What happened with cheese?
I'm asking you.
This is just a random person named Cheese, but I'm going to talk about something else. Want to know what's not cool?
What's that?
The world of VR.
Why is that?
Well, okay, let's actually talk. Have you played any VR?
No, I can't. It makes me instantly nauseous.
I could easily see that because you are like Mr. Nausea, and like that's the whole concept is. I got a little nauseous playing it, but like VR is its own thing. Like it's not for me, at least in its current state. I also don't have enough space for it. Or maybe I did in my previous apartment, but I don't now. But like. This is unrelated to what I want to talk about. Did you see, like, so Facebook is now making people, like, it's requiring a Facebook account or else you can't use your Oculus. Oh, no, it's not even that. They already required a Facebook account for sign-in if you are using an Oculus Rift because they bought Oculus Rift. But now they're having in-app ads for the paid Oculus Rift. So, like, you're in the hub space and you see, like, an ad. Oh, my
God.
Like, that's kind of, it reminds me of, like, EA. They did that with their, like, $60 football game on the loading screens. It's like, if I ever get an ad in a product I paid for, I immediately will never use them again.
We get that on TVs nowadays. Like my mom bought a new TV and it like give you ads in the fucking.
I think you're able to jailbreak them and make the ads stop.
Well, yeah, but like having to do all this extra fucking shit is like pretty awful.
Oh, I think that's entirely justified. Jailbreaking it, like you don't need.
Oh no, yeah, it's justified to do so. But I mean, like the fact that we have to do that just to fucking use one of our products we paid for is absolutely insane.
Yeah. But what I want to talk about is how we're living in a hellscape. In that, do you remember like way back in the day when there was like there still is massive smog in China, you just don't hear about it that much. There was like screens that showed the sunrise in China, in like Beijing, and like people would just like gather around it because they couldn't see the sun. So they're now putting VR headsets on cows that show like grazing grass while they're in like factory farms.
Wait, there's no
they
way
are.
This is real.
I linked this to you. There's like pictures of cows.
Where?
With VR headsets. It's in the Discord, okay, Mr. I want to contribute to this podcast, but I don't read anything. How dare you? I'm just like, there really
This is awful. This is no way this is real.
It's real. It's happening. I mean, it's happening in Russia, so like it's not like they care. Like I feel like the scientific ethical like
They have it on the birds.
yeah, on the birds would be actually funny. I'm just like imagining like birds just like I mean it's kind of like you didn't have cicadas this
What
year.
if they're just like blasting like the most hardcore like VR porn like 24/7?
I'm thinking more like
these cows.
I'm thinking more like wasn't there like a Resident Evil on VR and they're just like showing the
just
cow-
like scaring the shit out of them.
I mean that's actually sad, but like,
It's actually like cow porn, so it's like sexy cows.
I mean there's like literally a Wikipedia article
They're,
on panda porn.
making
That was
them,
like a legitimate
they're making them
thing.
like horny to like I want to make more milk. Like
I mean, honestly, that could happen. Like,
is that what cows do?
they showed panda porn in like zoos because they weren't reproducing in those conditions. Like that was a real thing. But
like was it like high quality? Was it like
I don't know. There's a
was it like,
Wikipedia article you can read about it. I'm not even joking. If you search panda porn on Wikipedia, you will find a multiple paragraph
they like
article.
gussy them up, put like makeup on them and stuff. Like,
I don't know. I
like
don't know enough about this.
Schoolgirl outfit.
Would you rather I knew a lot about this or just the fact that it exists?
You're the one that brought it up.
I brought it up, but like I'm not saying that I have information on this. I'm just
our
saying
listeners
it's a thing.
demand the whole entire lore wiki.
We already talked about John McAfee's certain interest in interspecies relationships, so I'm not
What
gonna.
were we talking about? Oh yeah, VR cow 24/7 like hardcore porn. They got the life.
I don't think
Either
we were
titties
talking about this,
rubbed.
but I don't think we can talk about anything else. I just like I'm seeing these cows with VR headsets on, and I'm wondering what happened. How did we get here?
It's Russia. That's all I gotta say.
It's Russia. Okay.
It's fucking Russia.
Jesus.
Speaking of cows, something that happened with cheese and unlisted videos. Apparently, they're just getting rid of unlisted videos before 2017.
Is this
They just deleting
is this
them,
cows?
or
So no, apparently every single video on YouTube, if it's unlisted and it was made before the year 2017, they're turning it opt out of. So right now they're turning them private with an opt out system. So back up all of your favorite videos that are currently unlisted because they're going to become privatized because a lot of these accounts are not even active anymore. So like already things are getting deleted. But creators are basically getting emails saying, hey, your videos are unlisted before 2017. They're going to be made private unless you take these steps. So we're going to see a wave of a lot of content on YouTube getting, the boot.
I mean, I guess I understand it. Like, and I guess I do and I don't. It's like, do they just need more space, or like, what's the whole deal?
I'm going to guess it's because of bandwidth, but I don't know. YouTube makes weird decisions.
That they do.
Oof. What's your favorite video? I'm not going to ask what your favorite video that's unlisted is, because like that's really random. There's probably a couple that are on your like favorite list that are unlisted and you just don't know it. But like, what's like a classic unknown video from your life from like, I'm not even going to say 2017, 2012 and before.
Oh God. Probably. I mean, there's stuff that like people know. Like I love like that shoes video. That's a good one.
I don't think I know the shoes video.
Lawnmower Dreams. That's a really good one.
Is Lawnmower Dreams? That's not really an obscure video, but that's pretty good. I'll admit that.
I can't. You're putting me on the spot. I can't think of them. I have to like go do some like deep soul searching. Oh yeah, It's So Cold in the D. That's one of my favorites like ever.
I have no idea what that is. Should we splice that in?
Oh my God. There's no way. Oh my God, this is like
one of my favorite videos on YouTube is called and I can't. It's like a YouTube poop where like it just ear rape. Like I can't really explain it. It just is what it is.
Please watch.
My favorite
this.
video of all time on YouTube is Mark Salute Presents Yourself, but that's like you can't really explain that. Except that it's very 90s.
Please watch this.
All right, I'll send you. I don't think my favorite video from YouTube is still on YouTube, so I'll just link it to you. I'll put it on the side of this podcast. Mark Salute Presents Yourself still is.
Oh God.
You a fan? It's only like 5 seconds.
It's very abrasive, that's for sure. Now I'm like thinking about like really, really old videos.
This video that you linked me, just remember, do you remember that video like twerking for the homies, where like that cringe white girl was like twerking on those graves?
Wait, what? Now I have to Google that.
It's so bad.
I love this.
It was made very seriously at the time, I think, to follow a trend. But
this is for my dead homies twerk. I love this. This is everything to me. I'm adding this to favorites.
Dana's weirdly erect right now.
No, I fucking love this. Speaking of actually good YouTube current content, have you seen any of that JCS stuff that all the streamers have been watching?
I have no idea what JCS is. The only good YouTube content are like all the videos of like Mario characters dying horrific deaths. You know what I'm talking about? Like Wario eating Oreos
like,
in an elevator, and then the elevator falls and he dies. Like Wario texting and driving off a cliff. Toad dying in a Christmas-related car accident.
All I know about is that one like really explicit video or GIF of like Mario and Luigi shitting on.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about horrific car-related accidents.
No, JCS is like that criminal psychology stuff that everybody's into right now. Like, you ever see that thing that's on YouTube or on Twitter? Everyone's posting about that kid that's like pretending to be crazy or whatever. It's like the memes everywhere. I'm sure you've seen those memes everywhere.
I haven't.
Oh my god. Well, it's really interesting. You should check it out.
You gotta watch The Sopranos, okay?
Maybe. There's still too much anime to watch.
Sopranos is basically an anime.
What if they made an anime version of Sopranos?
That's the Mafia anime, where it's like a baby is the mob boss.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. My buddy says it's really good.
It was really good. So I watched like the first 200 episodes, but I thought it was really good in high school. So like, I don't know.
It's like going back now. There's only like certain things like I feel like I could go back and would end up being really good. Like I think Cowboy Bebop would probably still really good.
I mean, it would probably be of a similar, like I would not hate watching Naruto right now. Like I think Naruto is decent, but like that's going back and watching Naruto is decent.
Well, yeah, you could go back and like watch some of the crazy fight scenes, and be like, holy shit, yeah, this is.
I would say it's like the same class though. Like I'm not gonna say it's like amazing anime. I mean, it was a shonen anime.
I'm watching some pretty good shit right now, though.
What are you watching?
It's a show called Tokyo Revengers. It's like this guy. He's like a loser.
Is it like Tokyo Godfathers?
I don't know what that is.
It's definitely not.
It's like this guy. He's like a fucking loser, but in like middle school, he was like a badass gangster. So like he gets killed by a train, and then he goes back to his middle school self to right the wrongs of his past or some shit.
So you go back in time when you die? That's what it's saying?
Yeah, but then he like warns people like shit that happens, like people like his girlfriend and his girlfriend's brother.
Is he a ghost or is he like real?
No, he's real. So he goes back in time to like his middle school self and stops like people from dying. And then, oh, my phone just went off for some reason. And then, like, he tells them, and then he somehow gets transferred back to the future. And then the person was like, dude, you saved my fucking life. And then they become linked together, and they can use each other to go back in time and, like, prevent people from dying. And it's, like, crazy. But they're all gangsters now.
That's very different than Tokyo Godfathers. Tokyo Godfathers is about three homeless people raising an abandoned child.
What does that have to do with anime? Is that an anime?
It's an anime, yeah.
I might have to check that out. It sounds pretty good.
It's from 2003. It was pretty good. I remember it.
There's a lot of good anime right now, like One Piece. The problem with One Piece, it's super, super good, but it drags on for a while because they get too close to where the manga is and they have to like slow it down.
Yeah. He should just take like a couple years off.
Hey, no. But I love One Piece. It's super sick. Like
if One Piece is so good, where's Two Piece? Where's Bikini? Where is it?
Are you proud of that one?
Not really.
Yeah, you kind of just ruined everything. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
You should watch some of the scenes in like the Wano arc, like when Luffy fights Obama.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to mention spoilers, but there's like a scene where like Luffy finally stretches his penis, and he uses that in battle.
Do you think there's like porn somewhere of that?
What do you mean think? There definitely is.
Like, I mean like animated porn.
I guarantee it.
Animated Luffy One Piece porno.
But you do understand, like, how much, due to
One
the fact...
Piece Brooks finally fucks Nami.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this, like, a common theme now after last episode, after the McChicken incident?
Holy shit.
He's not...
Dude.
At least this time
Nico Robin is getting railed.
Congratulations on your discovery. Are you going to turn it off? Are we going to continue? Or are you just...
Hold on.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to talk over this very disturbing event. Do you think that this is, like, legitimate? Like, as an extra limb, like, he uses his arms and legs even his neck, he uses, like, pretty regularly in battle. I mean, like, I understand why they're restricting it from an author point of view.
He could probably stretch out his chin and fuck somebody with it.
Yeah, I think the issue with restricting movement of certain areas of the body is that it just makes him a weaker fighter. Maybe it's like one of those, like, you know, like that meme about Shaggy only using like 30% of his power?
Yeah.
It's something like that. Like, we're going to see
like Luffy
reveal.
Only uses 30% of his penis?
No, because he's using none of it. He's using none of it. He's like 95% of his power instead of 100%.
Do you think he can use? Do you think he can use hockey on his?
We're getting too technical here. It's just whether or not he could use it. Well, like there had to have been situations in the manga where if you go back and like think about like how it may be useful to him, like it would have gotten him out of a pinch.
Well, it's like how he's like, and his hand like blows up.
Oh no!
Does that with his wiener, and then his wiener's giant, and then he like kills somebody with it.
I guess.
I just want to see shows that just go like all the way out, because I feel like they're obviously not doing this shit because their shows need to have a certain theme, but like you gotta think of like the reality of like what people would do in real life with this kind of shit, you know? I want to see that.
The issue is that like the scientific, like in order to go all out, you have to explore the scientific possibility that explains it. And like usually when you have a supernatural event, like when you try to actually explain the scientific nature of it, that's when things go wrong. I mean, that's what happened with Star Wars, right? People like hated the midichlorian explanation or whatever. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I don't really remember the exact.
It's like something that's the reason why they have powers or something.
Yeah, the force is controlled by midichlorians. That's what they call it. But like I'm watching the show called like Manifest, and like because it's like number 1 or 2 on Netflix. I'm watching with my girlfriend Angela, and it's like basically I remember the show from like ABC in like 2015, and like apparently like Netflix picked it up again, but like they took a flight and then they hit some turbulence, but apparently the turbulence was like some wormhole, and they show up like 6 years in the future, and everyone's like, how did this happen? And like they're like,
isn't that the plot of Lost?
This had to have been somehow involved with the people who made Lost, because it's so similar. I've only seen a couple episodes of Lost. Like I'm super into Mega 64, and they constantly talk about it, so I tried to go back.
Yeah, they're always talking about it. Yeah,
Lost is one of those shows where if you're not
my mom watched it, she said it was really good.
That's the thing though. Like Lost was amazing for the time, but it's just like dated TV tropes. It's like when you haven't watched Seinfeld and you like try to watch Seinfeld. My mom
literally watched it this year.
Okay, well, your mom is of an age where I think it's
like
acceptable.
I literally know people that like still watch Seinfeld. Like it's actually like a thing for like Gen Zers like to watch like Seinfeld and like Friends.
You're not letting me finish. It's like it has to like for Seinfeld. Seinfeld is a little bit different than Lost. I think it was a bad way to do a metaphor, but like Seinfeld. Every single thing in Seinfeld has been done before, and like even certain episodes have been parodied so many times that like it almost seems like Seinfeld is copying the things you've already seen multiple times, because Seinfeld was so revolutionary that like everything now is commonplace, because like we realize that's so relevant to making a sitcom that like it's been adopted. So like Seinfeld actually comes off as underwhelming due to the fact that it was so like groundbreaking. But Lost specifically, it has those tropes of like the show is way too long. I think it's like 7 seasons and like 20 episodes each season, and each episode's like an hour. So like that's like already like, oh my God, that's just like TV from like early 2000s, like not really caring about the viewer's time, not making it bingeable. But then also like half the episode is recap, and then like there's like tune in next week, and then it's like also like it's just like it.
But that's how like all that TV started though, with all like do the recap, do the thing, and now it's just like all shit shows. Yeah, like, is there really that much TV on like syndicated television nowadays that's like worth watching?
I have no idea. I haven't watched actual live television in so long. But what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, of course, like trying to watch Lost now is going to be a little bit harder just due to the fact that like it has those old TV tropes. I really think like I'm surprised this hasn't happened. Like Netflix, if they really just want to like, maybe we'll get like sued or something. Maybe that's why they haven't tried it. They should just have like a global, we're playing this like Netflix TV, and then it's just like literally just playing a random thing, and like you could tune in at like 1 a.m. and you're watching whatever everyone else is watching at 1 a.m. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that just TV?
No, but like Netflix should have their own station with like their own things. Try to simulate actual TV.
Like on Netflix, like you could just like, hey, watch Netflix TV.
Yeah, because like Netflix
I think that's like that like ruins the entire point of Netflix though.
No, Netflix has like a random button, but like if they like, I feel like the whole like
how sick would it be if Netflix had like a chat, so you could like chat with people who are also watching the same thing as you?
It would no, you think it would be sick, but like it would be Twitch chat, just like somehow it'd be like Twitch chat mixed with like Facebook chat.
Exactly. It sounds like a shit show, and I want to be there for it.
Okay, you want to be there for it? I could make it happen.
To be honest, I don't have Netflix.
Netflix is definitely the worst in terms of content. I think the best by far is HBO Max, and I mean, like I don't know. I feel like most people would disagree with me, but I feel like they're normies.
I have Disney Plus, but I have never used it.
Watch The Mandalorian, just because you're talking about Baby Yoda so much.
I hate Star Wars, like, genuinely. Like,
yeah, I've never seen it, but you talk about you've
never seen the original Star Wars movies?
Oh no, sorry, The Mandalorian I've never seen. I've seen every single Star Wars movie, 1 through 9. And Solo, but I've never seen Mandalorian.
I've never seen any of the new ones. I refuse
to. Yeah, you would cringe. You would not like them. I don't know. I have no idea how The Mandalorian is, but like you've mentioned Baby Yoda specifically like 3 or 4 times. You have.
It's mostly because I hear it every fucking day at work. This is like just like really, really overweight people with like Baby Yoda t-shirts. They're like,
"Can I get the Funko Pop?"
Yeah, you have the Baby Yoda Funko Pop.
Excuse me, it's Grogu. They revealed that, but no, I feel like. Man. Sometimes it's more worth it to watch TV to like unlock the cultural references than to like actually care about like the show. Like if you watch Mandalorian, you get to actually talk about it. That seems like a sociopathic way to watch TV. It's like I don't care about the TV show. I just want to be able to have conversation with humans.
I mean, that's like a real thing though that people do, and it's just why I'm like so fucking awkward when I'm just like, One Piece, and they're just like, what? Like everyone else is like watching, American Idol.
That's why you watch anime, so you don't actually have to talk about the TV you watch with people. They're gonna like, oh, he watches anime, he's weird. I'm like legitimately sad about the only late night show person I think is tolerable is Conan, and there's no more late night with Conan because he's moving to HBO
Max. I think all late night TV has always been insufferable. Like, like Conan's alright, but
I'm a Jay Leno head. I have 35 Jay Leno bobbleheads. Jay Leno is
what the fuck is a Jay Leno head? It's like the stupidest thing
no, it's like you ever say like, oh, are you a who's the character from Twilight? Edward Snowden. I'm a Snowden head.
Edward Snowden, isn't that the guy who's like extradited from the United States for WikiLeaks?
No, it's Edward versus
Edward
Jacob,
Scissorhands, right? Or whatever.
No, it's not Edward Scissorhands.
All right, we're fucking too old for this.
Yeah.
Shit.
All right, I think his name is Edward, right? Twilight.
Edward Cullen.
Edward Cullen. I want to. Who would win in a fight? Edward Cullen or Edward Snowden or Edward Scissorhands? I think Edward Snowden would hack his way out of the situation.
I don't know.
Leak some information about like Edward Cullen's past to get him canceled. Having a age gap. Twitter wouldn't like that. 101 and like 18 wouldn't work. Leak that information in the Coliseum.
I don't think
you're taken aback by this conversation. What were we even talking? Oh, yeah. No, I'm a Jay Leno head. I love me some Jay Leno.
Yeah, how'd we get into any of that? You're a Jay Leno head. Fucking Jimmy Fallon sucks. He's the most unfunny person in the universe.
Can we do a late night tier list? Okay, so it starts at C tier. C tier Conan. D tier.
Yeah, then everything else is F.
Yeah, that's my tier list. Like I'm trying to think. Like I don't know who Seth Meyers is. He's a late night person.
Fuck is that?
Who the fuck is Seth Meyers? You'd probably recognize him. He has his own late night show. No one cares. I don't care. At least then I'm everyone. So
dude,
yeah, really.
Did you watch any late night TV like during like quarantine? It was fucking awful because it was all like done through Zoom. And it was just like him by himself. So like there's like no celebrities.
I haven't watched any late night TV in my entire life, but like I was vicariously watching the nightmare that was late night television during quarantine because of like the whole like basically you're seeing like YouTubers actually make better daily content than like late night shows because they don't understand how to do it with their like big Hollywood budgets. It was pretty hilarious. So I was like watching the dumpster fire. That was pretty cool. That and like all the late night not even late night hosts, all the celebrities just being like, we're all in this together, and it's like they're in like their $95 million mansion. It's like, wow. This is great.
There's just like we have food catered to us every single day. I have food catered to me every day because I'm a baller.
Because you order Uber Eats every single day.
Yeah.
Do you have 20-inch rims on your Impala?
I wish. I actually have a rental car right now, so.
I referenced the song, and you didn't acknowledge my reference, okay?
I knew the lyrics. I don't know what song that's to.
Oh, it's I Want to Be a Baller by I don't know who.
I don't think this song exists. I think you're just making things up. How would you feel if you searched it and like there were 0 results?
Yeah, that's what you wanted to happen with the McChicken, and then it didn't happen.
Little Troy.
Well, like there's actually like
little Troy.
you know, like the song has a tragic story. Like every single person that was featured on the song, including Little Troy, like died a early death. Yeah, no, I'm serious about it.
Like how? Like were they like gunned down or like at once?
Legacy.
Or, like...
The song has a tragic legacy, as almost everyone featured in the song has died in relatively early death. Oh, everyone except for one person. Fat Pat shot to death in February 1998, one year prior to the release of the song. Not even so, he was dead before the song even came out. Big Hawk, who filled in for his brother, also died. He was murdered. Lil Troy's cousin, Lil Will, who was on the song, died in a car accident. And then Big T, who made the singing for the song Hook, died of a heart attack early. Lil Troy wrote but did not perform in the song. So even though Lil Troy is credited, it wasn't actually him who sung. So he didn't die.
He's not in the song at all?
I guess not.
Why does it say Little Troy wanna be a baller then?
Because he wrote the song. He didn't. He wants to be a baller. He doesn't want to die an early cursed death.
But like literally every pop song is written by like 8 different people other than the artist.
He's the original DJ Khaled.
Like,
you know how DJ Khaled credits himself when he just says DJ Khaled like 3 minutes into the song?
Yeah, but it still says like Drake song. It doesn't say like featuring DJ Khaled. Like we can look at any like Britney Spears song that has like 17 producers or 17 writers, and it's not like you don't list like the 17 writers featuring Nicki Minaj.
No, I mean like there's definitely songs that
he's literally not in this at all. Like,
no, okay, DJ. This is I'm the One by DJ Khaled featuring Justin Bieber. Does DJ Khaled do anything?
Yeah, he's like in it though.
He's in it, I guess. But there's absolutely no way.
You said Little Troy is not even in this.
He just wrote it. I mean, like, I don't think he's in the music video, DJ Khaled, but I don't think DJ Khaled did anything except for saying DJ Khaled.
But like, does Little Troy say anything?
I don't know. I think this was pre. When did like MCs on a rap song start getting annoying? Because, like, you know, there had to be a time before, like, it wasn't just, like, I don't know, like, screaming, I made this song in the background.
I mean, Akon, I think, started a lot of that when he was just... No, I think 3 6 Mafia, probably.
When he was just like Akon,
Young Jeezy, convict music, and that's all he
Survivor, said. That spoke to me as a sixth grader.
I'm a soul survivor.
When I was in 6th grade and I was dealing ecstasy on the streets.
What?
Yeah, I blasted that song while I was dealing thousands of pounds of ecstasy on the streets.
Okay, thousands of pounds.
I could have done it.
Yeah, you sometimes I wonder, like, you say these things and then I have to like really like look at your expression to see if you're like being real or not, because you were a rambunctious young child. You ever look at like this actually going to go back to anime, and it's like, look at this middle schooler and he's like 30 feet tall and like buff.
Yeah, like I was actually at summer camp, and I remember like a fat camp came to our summer camp, and like they used some of our dorms for like 2 weeks, and I was just like chilling with this guy who was like 6 feet tall and like 500 pounds. Like it was actually a sad case. I'm like, oh, I was just trying to be friends. Like, you're what grade are you going into? He's like, yeah, I'm going to 6th grade. I'm like, oh shit, because like,
is that a real story or
no? That's a real story. Like legitimately, there are some rambunctious 6th graders.
Christ. There was a 6th grader that broke my scooter, and I'm pissed off because I used to ride that thing everywhere, and it was so cool and so fun.
You should call up for a new scooter.
I don't even know her name.
You could find her. You could find. I don't even think that'd be that hard.
I mean, I could be like, yo, you remember that girl we used to call Debo? What was her name? And then I'd have to talk to like people I haven't talked to in like 12 years, and I would not want to talk to people I haven't talked to in 12 years. Do you ever have that where you have like people you haven't talked to since like middle school, like random, yo, what's up, man? Like, man, like, dude, like, you know, like, what's up? And it's like you used to literally snort fucking rocks in 4th grade. Like,
I mean, I guess I was on the opposite side when like this was like 2 weeks ago. I like messaged someone I hadn't talked to in like 8 years. Like, yo, remember Lord of the Rings Conquest? Because we were talking about Lord of the Rings Conquest like on one of our podcast episodes a couple weeks ago. I'm like, yo, remember Lord of the Rings Conquest? We were the real ones. We played that game. And he's like, okay. That was like the whole conversation. No, okay, it was more than that.
So you're that guy?
I was not that guy. I haven't done that in so long.
Okay, I've had so many people messaging me like that. I'm just like,
okay,
cool.
I haven't had this many encounters. Like this is someone I was friendly with. It wasn't like some random guy.
No, but I know, but that's like people you were friendly with like 12 years ago. It's like, oh, yo, what's up, man? We used to hang out all the time. It's like,
I think we both acknowledged that we were in less of a close friend relationship. This was like a friend of a friend, and like they also happened to like they're trying stand-up comedy, so they made like a little joke about it when I messaged him about it. I'm like, ha, that's funny. I was like, it's a shame that the game will be remembered as mediocre when it was actually good. He's like, I disagree. It's not going to be remembered at all. I'm I'm like, ha, that's funny. But then the
And that was-
conversation, I think I said like, ha ha, and that was it.
He will never message you ever again.
Yeah, I mean, he never messaged me in the first place, and I would never message him before that. How is that bad?
How does it feel to be that guy?
I'm not that guy. How is that bad? We both had a positive interaction about this one random shared thing.
You're that guy.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy trying to just like jog a positive memory out of a person. I'm not here expecting like a part of the social contract. I'm not here expecting like a full on like revival of our friendship. I understand how things are.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I mean, like, I've just had like people like reach out to me that I haven't spoken to in like a million fucking years, and like people that were like going down like a very dark road in like middle school. They were like doing drugs and like skipping school and stuff like that, and now they're like, yeah, I got a kid now. Like, what's up, man? Like,
I'm sorry for laughing. It was incredibly inappropriate. It's just talking about people like descending into like terrible life choices. But
no, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
No, it's not. What I was thinking at the time, like I'm gonna send this podcast to every single one of your classmates. I'm gonna like find your high school and then go to class of whatever grade you were in and send this podcast.
Joke's on you. I never graduated high school.
Class of GED, Illinois.
Yep, I got my GED. Good enough degree.
There we go.
Did you not know I never graduated?
I knew that, but like I forget. I'm sorry.
Because my school was stupid. In the middle of my sophomore year, they decided they wanted to be a college prep, and below 70 was failing.
This is dark, but I mean, the below 70 is always failing. A D is failing, right? You know that, right?
Below 60 is usually failing, but like,
well, no, I understand. Like, there's an F, but like, I don't really understand the grading system because D doesn't pass. You know, like
D passes.
My high school, if you got a D, you had to retake a course, and if in college, like you don't get any credit. Like you get credit in that, like
Ds
your GPA doesn't
get degrees.
Not where I went. Like I really don't really understand.
Well, yeah, you went to like billionaire highs, like fucking.
I went to public school. Okay, well, not college, but I went to public school, and I just don't understand the grading system. I think homework is bullshit.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest problem. Homework was 80% of our grade.
I think that like the fact that real life doesn't have homework, it's I don't understand why we put unnecessary stress on children.
So the whole reason behind homework is your entire life you're meant to do shit you're not going to want to do and just do busy work. That is what the average person's job is going to be for most of their life, and that is to prepare you for that.
We should probably take down the bourgeoisie. I wasn't staring at you. I was staring at Mao there. I think we should just topple the educational system, install people who are into communism. We should probably just like look at our current educational system and decapitate it from the top up. If you don't play...
Did you see me squeezing Mao?
Don't squeeze Mao.
I'm stroking him.
You're stroking him. Okay, that's... I guess his head is phallically shaped. The little... You know what I'm talking about? He's got a little head on top of his head. This is terrible.